Well, you know, for example, and maybe I'm not remembering, but didn't the neighbors out there, before you get to the outlet, haven't they asked to join on, but they're not a part of the city?
Yeah, Lanfear's Trailer Park.
Oh,
That's the one I'm talking about, that will be next, I would assume.
They'll want sewer and water, they won't be annexed.
Right, they've got more out there than it seems like ever.
mm-hmm. But also then her house, I can't remember her name.
Dorothy's house or Mary Becker's house?
Yeah, they're not annexed in, are they? Our philosophy and our argument so far, you're welcome, but we want you annexed in.
Right.
So our next step is somebody would have to move to have Scott prepare this, if that's what the council wants to do. Is that correct?
So the question I have, one more question I ask, has it ever come up before?
This?
Yes.
I think with Lampiers
And it has. Like, Clarence Jensen really wanted to have a couple of lots. He wanted to lot out a couple things in front of his house there. And
As the city has the right to say no to anybody they want to, right?
yeah, and this ended up being an annexation issue, and he knew that he had to annex before he could get utilities.
And he said no. Didn't he?
Well, he came and asked us to annex to one
The only
lot.
thing I
He
can
said,
go is
please
back-
plat something.
When we was on the council, we had people that wanted in and we didn't want in. If they wanted in, they came to us, we could say yes or we could say no.
Yep.
But then they
Right.
changed that now, so this is in the code, right?
They did. They said, you know, if you're going to receive the services, then you should be annexed in.
So why was that ever put in there? That's the question I'm asking. I don't care if that's in
I
there.
have no idea.
I don't either, but it was no big issue for,
Because I think the council was thinking, that's fine if you want those services, but you got to be annexed in.
And they're gonna pay a premium though, from how I understand that, correct? I mean, there will be a premium to be outside the city limits and receive service.
Yes.
So the 1.5 times or whatever.
And I think, you know, that Blackhawk sanitary sewer district, they just got tired of managing. So they said, hey, they came to the council and said, we want to annex in. And the
Right.
council said no. So they went ahead and built their whole system.
well, they didn't want to be annexed in to start with.
Right. The
They
city
put-
asked them.
This is after the first one. The first one that was put in did not want to be annexed in. We tried to annex in when I was on the council and nobody wanted to annex in.
Well, whatever it is, we're dealing with whatever's in the book now. Okay.
So you need a motion that says asking Scott to draft a new...
Draft a new ordinance, or not, one of the two. But somebody's got to either say something or say nothing.
That's why I just want to ask this question one more time. Is annexation a possibility?
Right now, I would say with Mike and them, at this point right now, I don't see it as being
I mean, it's my understanding that Jake would do it,
no.
and Mike is no.
No, you're wrong. I think you're wrong according to what Mike said. Mike said Jake wasn't on board for annexation at all.
Okay. And
I can't speak
and
for
Mike
Jake.
is not in favor of annexation either.
Not unless he gets some benefits from it.
Sewer. Gets the sewer. We got to do something. We're going to sit here all damn night.
But, you know, just that, you know, I'd hope we could step back and really take a big picture look at this and why we wanted to go down this road in the first place, you know, and remember the lake quality issues. And the other reasons, anything behind annexation, you know, it deals with development, deals with orderly development, you know, and those are the rationale for why the property, you know, should be annexed in and have some regulation in place for how it develops. If it then becomes the give and take between that and not getting the project done, I guess that's the tough decision for the council. But you know,
Because if you're annexed in, you have the boundary, you know, setback regulations and everything else. Unless you go before the variance.
And I know the issue's been brought up before, Vern, about, so say we don't annex now, what happens in the future, and can there be any possible commitment about a future annexation?
Yep.
Can we put a time to it?
I'm not the one to say the time. As soon as they do that, and it's out now anyway, you just won't know it, but once we talk about developing that thing into houses, what's gonna happen to our tenants? You know that, and I talked this with you before. And now you're pushing to get this out, it's out, so let it be. 5 years, 7 years down the line, yeah, we're gonna come to the city and be annexed in, but then the city's gonna have to do all of that, put the electrical meters to each one of them, not ours, which we asked you to do before, but was turned down on. You know, that's not this council. It's not this council at all. Are we trying to work with this council? We definitely are. If we're willing to stick $100,000 of our money into the other 75, I think we're trying to work with somebody.
So what's the council think? What do you want to do? Have you heard enough?
Yeah, I've heard enough, I'm not gonna make the motion.
We'll have to have a motion to have Scott bring it up to redo the code, if that's what they want to do. If nobody says anything, then I guess we'll just drop it.
I think it's dropped.
I think it's dropped.
If we're annexed in, what happens? I mean, if it's over, it's over. I don't care. It's not me. Close it up. Close the park up.
I think annexation is,
Is what,
But why, all right, then,
if nobody's gonna have a motion,
Well-
a second, we'll
I'm just gonna say one thing right now. Why did this council vote on it the first time around? Because everybody was in agreement, right?
in annexation.
Right, and we were in it too. Until we were not even given the contract, the last contract, we were not even given it. We were told not to give us the contract.
I called Mike and explained to him that there was no intent, I don't think anybody knew that night that Tim was going to raise the motion. I don't think anybody thought that process.
But why wasn't we given the contract? Even if the motion wasn't done, why wasn't we given the contract? I mean, we're working off a contract that we thought was done before, that Mike had spent how many times up here with you, Scott?
Yep, several.
Right, and you sat down, you negotiated this, you negotiated that, right? Then we come to a meeting, and it's not what you negotiated at all, it's right back to square one. Everything that he negotiated out of there is back in there, outside the fact that the city's gonna pay for the upgrade of the pump. That's not in there.
I don't know what to say.
I don't either, John, I don't. Is annexation completely off the table? No.
Like I told Mike, there was nothing done with the intent to, put a surprise on anybody. There wasn't. Nobody knew that I was going to rewrite this. Nobody knew that. This council did not know that.
Well, I don't know why it took, how long ago did we start this? Why did it take this long to even get to a contract coming in? I mean, Scott tells me that
Probably because Mike didn't hire a lawyer.
What are you talking about?
Well,
Mike has to hire a lawyer?
you asked why it took so long.
They were negotiating. Scott told me it was all done, Mike tells me it's done. He says, laying on Aaron's desk. How long did it lay on Aaron's desk?
Because the council was still talking about it. And then Scott came over and I typed it up.
Did you want to talk about Reardon or something?
I'm just telling you, Vern, nothing was done with the intent. And I told that to Mike.